Well, good morning. It is so good to be back with you all this morning as we kick off what I think is going to be a most delightful spring semester of Numen Lumen, a Thursday inspiration. This morning I begin by thanking Nicole for her music. Thanks for sharing with us. And I also thank in advance Melissa Jordan, the interim director of the Multicultural Center, for her words of wisdom that she's going to share with us this morning. Melissa's very fun to be around, always has a smile on her face, and is a joy to work with and spend time with. So she is going to share her reflections here in just a minute on our Numen Lumen theme for this academic year, which is reconciling lives, personal stories, and the search for multi-faith understanding. So, Melissa, we welcome you.
Good morning. How is everybody? Fabulous. Thank you, Jamie. Fabulous. So again, my name is Melissa Jordan. I am serving as the interim director for the Multicultural Center. I'm a 2004 alum of our wonderful institution, and I think that it is an honor that I have this opportunity to share with you all my personal story, basically around how I've come to have an understanding of my faith today. So there was a journey, and so I'm going to share that journey with you. So this wasn't titled at first, and so after going over it, a title finally came to me. So I'm going to share with you all. Your truth is your light, so let it shine. Your truth is your light, so you must let it shine. In 1987, at Hunter Memorial AME Church in Suitland, Maryland, a 5-year-old girl with 2 pigtails stands in front of a small youth choir to sing her first solo. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine. Little did I know that at that time in my life, this one simple lesson would become the core of who I was. This lesson of letting my light shine would lay the foundation for my understanding of faith and the journey of learning and knowing me. Growing up in a traditional AME church taught me a lot about traditions and hymns, organization, protocol. For this young girl, Christianity was a part of everyday life. I was in the choir. I was in the youth group, in every Christmas and Easter play, and never missed a summer of vacation Bible school. I attended a Christian school from preschool to 7th grade. And while I learned a lot about my religion and the mechanics and logistics of how it worked, I realized later in life that I didn't know too much about the faith part, the relationship part. As I grew older, I always held a hidden jealousy for friends that did not grow up in the church because they got to choose their faith instead of having it bestowed upon them, like I felt. They seemed to own their faith in a way that I had not yet come to understand. I knew so much about Christianity, but not so much about my faith, or any other faith, or any other religion for that matter. It was not until the 5th grade that I was even made aware that other faiths, traditions, and religions even existed. I must admit, I was a bit sheltered. In the 5th grade, a good friend of mine, who I am still friends with today, Naja Jackson, came to school one day, our very evangelical Christian school, I might add, and was telling everyone she was Muslim. And for whatever reason, this was a very big deal. At that time, I really had no idea what that meant, but based on the reactions of those around me, our teachers and our administrators, it was clear that something was different and many people did not approve. Even at that early age, I remember wondering, what is the big deal? While I cannot recall what actually happened in response to her proclamation of faith, the next day, Naja came to school and made no mention of her being Muslim. This experience marked the beginning of many questions about my faith, about others' faith, things that complemented each other and things that were in conflict. As the years moved on, I joined different Christian ministries, learning the complexities of Christianity as a religion, the different groups within the different doctrine they held, but it was not until my journey to North Carolina as a bright-eyed first-year student at Elon University that I really even began to understand the way I was crafting and developing my faith was very different from the way other Christians I knew were doing it. Not long after I arrived at Elon, I met and joined a local ministry here in Burlington. It was Christian, but the denomination was apostolic, one that I had not necessarily been very familiar with. There were very strict rules and regulations that everyone in the ministry seemed to accept as the norm. But as an adult, I now seem to question some of the things that were going on. But there's one thing that I learned from this ministry that I will always take with me. This ministry taught me how to develop the relational piece of my faith. While it was not the beginning of my religious journey, it was the beginning of my personal spiritual journey and understanding who I was, who I wanted to be, and how that would connect with my relationship with God. I worshiped with that ministry for several years. Toward the end of my time there, the ideas and practices that once seemed to fit me so well were now no longer comfortable. The theology and the strict rules and regulations that at one time had provided me guidance, I was now unsure of. I remember having a conversation with my mother and telling her about some of the things that were going on and that no longer seemed helpful from this ministry. My mother, being as awesome as she is, reminded me that I am different. She said, "Melissa, you've always been different. You will always be different." She reminded me to always follow the guiding spirit inside of me, and like with many things in life, if it didn't fit anymore and I felt like I had outgrown it, I should take it off. Soon after that conversation with my mother, I left that church and took with me the things I needed that drew me closer to God in my relationship. At this time in my life, I had finally found the courage to trust myself enough to explore things that were not connected stereotypically to Christian tradition. I had all types of questions about other faiths and religions. I had friends who were atheists, agnostic, Jewish, Buddhist, and I now felt a burning desire to engage in conversation with those persons about their perspective and understandings of life. As I gave myself permission to think, explore, and develop my own thoughts about certain things, I started to learn how to be my most authentic self. This process was not easy. I encountered several people who questioned and passed judgment on me. These people wanted to tell me what my truth was instead of allowing me the space to find it on my own. But despite the self-doubt they tried to impose on me, I had to remain true to the idea that I am the only person that can determine my own truth and find my own light. I wanted to experience the views, practices, and beliefs of others as it related to faith and religion. This desire led me to a close friend who at one time had been Christian, but had now found a new peace as a practicing Buddhist. She connected me to some others that practiced here in North Carolina, and I found myself in the home of a very nice woman named Maki. Maki opened her home to me, offered me a wonderful meal, and provided me an opportunity to learn more about this particular area of Buddhism and the practice of chanting. To be honest, it was weird at first, only because it was different and I was learning. And we all know that different makes us uncomfortable. There was a fear in the beginning as I heard this small group of people that were also invited to her home chanting, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And immediately I thought to myself, wasn't that the chanting that was in that Tina Turner movie? What's love got to do with it? And didn't my auntie say that was demonic? I freaked myself out for a quick second only because I had stopped trusting my own judgment and was allowing someone else's ideas, my aunt, to lead and guide me. I looked around at the group of people and asked my inner spirit, yes, that inner spirit that my mother reminded me about, to guide me. And immediately I felt peace. I started to watch the group and see the disposition of the people in the room. There was a peace, a quiet determination that was hidden under the rhythm of the chanting. For this group of people, this was their truth. Afterwards, I had an opportunity to speak to many of the folks there one-on-one. It was the most diverse group of people in a place of worship I have ever seen. Domestic and international, Black, white, all types of colors, old, young, gay, straight. Each had a different story as to how they found this practice and how the practice impacted their life in a very positive manner. If this was changing people's lives, who am I to question that? If this is their truth, who am I to say that this is a lie? I went to several more meetings and even chanted at my home. It was a wonderful experience, and it definitely gave me comfort in dealing with some difficult situations in that time of my life. And then one day, the desire for that practice left me. Just as easy as it came, it left. It was clear that it has served its purpose in my life, and it was a gift that I would always be so ever grateful for. I'm still good friends with Maki. She lives right down the street. She calls and checks on me often, and we remain in touch. I once again found myself back to Christianity, not because I felt convicted or I was lost, but because it was where the inner spirit led me. I knew Christianity was important to me, but now it was different. I had gotten a chance to choose it for myself after exploring some other belief systems, talking to some other people, thinking about some other ideologies and practices. In understanding the power of choice, a close friend who attended Duke's Divinity School encouraged me to find and develop my own theology as it relates to Christianity. Now, she wasn't telling me to make up stuff or create a whole new religion. I'm sure if I had said that's what I wanted to do, she would have said, okay. But she was encouraging me to find my own place within this thing we called Christianity. She was giving me permission to continue to search for my truth. After visiting many churches and seeking answers about particular issues that were taboo or are taboo in Christianity, I came to my own understanding. I decided that my truth was, do I believe in Jesus Christ? Absolutely. Is he the center of my life? Without a doubt. Well then, I'm a Christian, plain and simple. And if others believe only this simple idea, then they are Christian as well. I was not interested in all the doctrine of the many groups and denominations. I was not interested in judging others about the things in their life. I was and am only interested in talking to people about their personal relationship with God. In addition, I also came to a very firm decision that if Christianity is not the path one chooses, I will not condemn them. I will allow them to be their most authentic self. I will allow them to find their light, their truth, and I will seek to learn from them. My way may not be someone else's way, but in the end, their truth is their light, and I must give way for it to shine. This little light of mine, we must find a way for your light to shine and my light to shine, for us to coexist in a world that needs our light. I'm gonna let it shine. We must allow others to engage in the process of finding their truth and their light without judgment, allowing it to burn freely. This little light of mine, I cannot extinguish your light for the sake of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. When we allow others to let their light shine, it allows us to let our lights shine. So in this place we call community, family, at Elon, let us find space for each other's personal, authentic journey. Because the path to one's truth is a journey indeed, and we must welcome people wherever they are as it relates to their truth. And remember, it's not about saying this light is wrong or this light is right. It's about allowing space for all light to shine, no matter what it looks like and no matter where they are in their process. When we are all given permission to let our light shine, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Buddhist, and many others, think about all the darkness that we cast away. One large light is better than many small lights attempting to put each other out. And as we think about letting our light shine, let us remember that my light is no brighter. And in order to live authentically in my faith, and my beliefs, I must allow others to do the same. So what is my truth, my light? Very clear. Christianity is my space, my place, my home for my faith. I'm probably the most liberal Christian you will ever meet. And this is my truth for sure. We must allow others to find the truth for themselves. Thank you.
Melissa, thank you. That was just delightful to hear your story and be reminded of the spaces in our own stories. So thank you for that. It's wonderful. Just a couple things for you all. We always have refreshments out in the lobby area when we're finished. Please join us. You'll see a whiteboard with a question on it. I invite you to answer it and look for that question around campus tomorrow as we will be handing out cookies and a question. Jan Register has a card for Chaplain Emeritus Richard McBride, who had a knee replaced this week. So if you want to sign that for him, she'll have it out there when we gather for a reception. And if anyone feels like baking cookies this afternoon, I'll be in the kitchen here in Numen Lumen Pavilion from 1 o'clock till they're baked. So if you need a little break and want to bake or need to smell some cookies, come hang out with me in the kitchen. I think that's it, other than to say, LD Russell's going to help us explore some of the things that Melissa talked about, starting this Monday from 4 to 5, every Monday. Come whatever Mondays you can come from 4 to 5 and listen to LD. He's a really fun, fabulous guy. And with that, Melissa, I thank you again. And Nicole, I thank you again. And we finish this morning with one more piece from you.